So I'm gonna just keep it real like I always do and tell you all that entrepreneurship is really, really starting to drain me a lot. If I'm being completely honest, I am very grateful. Let me just say this. I'm very grateful for the influx of business that I've been receiving, but it's just a lot for one person. I have a cleaning business. I'm a solo cleaner. When I really, really, really need the help, I will, ask for help, get some subcontractors or whatever and have them help me out with certain projects. But I must say that I am truly, truly overwhelmed. And as an introvert running a business by myself, it's a lot. And nobody really told me that running a business such as mine would involve so many hands in the pot. What I mean by that is it just really involves a lot of people. I feel like I'm all over the place, honestly. Don't get me wrong, this is not a woe is me video, so don't go feeling sorry for me. I'm just sharing what it's like running a business as an introvert. So people have this misconception that introverts are not good at sales, they're not good at talking to people, but that's completely not true. When it comes to making money, us as introverts know when to turn it on and when to turn it off. And when it comes to the whole sales components, I worked in sales before I started my own business. And sales, what I learned over those few months or a whole year that I worked in my sales career, what I learned is that it's more listening than talking. You have to be a good salesperson. In order to be a good salesperson, you must be a good listener so that you can, try to tie back the customer's needs and things that they're struggling with, you tie those back to the notes you took in your head or physical notes while you were listening to them talking, whether it's over the phone or in person. So it takes a lot of active listening skills to be a good salesperson. And that is a skill that some extroverts do not possess. So it is, again, completely false to say that introverts are not good salespeople because we are. And then being an introvert does not mean that you're shy. Being shy means that you're scared to talk about something or scared to open up your mouth and speak. We know how to express ourselves. When there's something that needs to be said, we know how to say it. So that's not shyness. It's more so, I guess, reserved. That's how I would describe it. So being shy and being reserved are two different things. Introverts are more so on the reserved side. And we're not antisocial. We just know when to talk, or we just don't feel the need to, I guess, waste our words on things that are not important to us. For me, if I wanted to, I can walk into a room and have a conversation with almost anybody. But I feel the need to observe people first because I was burned in the past, trusting people that I had no business trusting. And I just learned over the years to build up my discernment skills. And like I said, observe people, ask them certain questions to know if I can trust them or not, and just listen to my intuition. And then that's when I open up to people. So when you think about owning a business, you may think about making money, creating your own schedule, being your own boss, and building something that truly means something to you, rather than working for someone else and making their dreams come true. But then reality hits, and you realize entrepreneurship is more than those four things I just listed. It is also including things like answering phone calls, emails, negotiating, sending out contracts, waiting on invoices to be paid. Oh my God. You would think that people will pay their invoices on time, but sometimes they don't. So you got to think about that when you're running a business. Then comes the networking, hiring people, following up, building a book of business, building your online presence, building a Google profile, and trying to get adequate Google reviews. That's a job in itself. Then it's the price rate increases due to inflation, and then building your website, upkeeping your website, just a whole lot. And then you come to realize that, wow, this is a lot. And as introverts, over time, all of that can drain you, to be honest. If you don't have a business partner or somebody that's helping you alongside you with those day-to-day things, like I said, it can get very draining as an introvert or as anybody, really. But here's what I learned through networking. Going to certain networking events at the Chamber of Commerce and going to certain conferences, I noticed I did not have to work the entire room. All I had to do was build relationships with a few people, a handful of people, like quality people, and keep their friendship going, or those, plural, those friendships going, because it's all about quality over quantity. Just a few meaningful conversations can mean a whole lot more than working the entire room and just speaking to people, like having small conversations with a whole lot of people. And then here's a big one for us as introverts with a business, introverted business owners. We have to have boundaries, okay? Being available 24/7 does not make you a good business person. It just makes you exhausted over time because you need to have time to actually run the business too. So having those specific business hours and not being available 24/7, having some time to also recharge will help you out also as an introverted business owner. And I got one more thing for you when it comes to being an introverted business owner. Nobody really talks about the loneliness that comes with it. Yes, it can be very lonely because you're essentially doing everything, every single thing by yourself if you are a solopreneur like myself. If you're coming from corporate America and you had coworkers that you enjoyed being around, unlike myself, in most cases, I won't say all cases, but most cases, my coworkers were just very like nitpicky, nosy, just act like a bunch of high schoolers, basically. But anyway, if you miss your coworkers, you will find that as a business owner, there are no coworkers. Let me just rephrase that. As a solo business owners, you don't have coworkers. You don't have people that you can go run to in the break room and talk about whatever, crack jokes, have little light conversations, things like that to kind of break the monotony. That's not around when you're working for yourself and by yourself. And also, there's no brainstorming sessions, no feedback loops, nobody to ask, oh, what you think about this? Or should I do that instead? There's nobody to ask those questions to when you're working by yourself. And then there may not be anybody around to understand what you're going through, especially if you're a first generation entrepreneur, and that's why it's so intentional as an introvert to find community, to go to those conferences and to go to the Chamber of Commerce and to, like I said, intentionally seek out people that are where you are in life, that you can, pull from, that you can find mentorship through. And yeah, that's how you get through that loneliness as an introvert, running a business by yourself. So again, don't get this twisted, please. This is not a whole woe is me video. This is not me just being completely negative about being an introverted business owner. So I want you to understand that introversion can be your biggest advantage as an entrepreneur because of these things here. Introverts were known for taking time to think before we speak. So we're very careful, very methodical. I think I pronounced that word correctly. We also are very creative and we take time to build lasting relationships rather than surface level relationships. We also notice the small details and we are very active listeners. Okay. So it is a great thing that you're an introvert running a business. So don't, like I said, don't feel discouraged, but you're just going to also have to be cognizant of those things that I mentioned before, like the whole loneliness piece, the need to set boundaries and knowing that certain networking opportunities may drain you if you don't work the room correctly. And also remember, you can be a great salesperson. It just takes a lot of practice and things of that nature. So, with that said, I hope that I taught you a few things about running a business as a solo entrepreneur while you're introverted. And one of the biggest things that I've learned is that I did not have to be an extrovert to run a successful business. I could just be myself completely. And I'm so, so, so thankful for that. Because I was able to be myself, I've been able to attract those like-minded clients and customers that I have on my roster. And I just love all of them. And I'm thankful and grateful for them. And I want to close out with this and let you know that just because you are an introvert, it does not mean that you are not capable of building something big. You just have to be intentional about how you're building your business, and you'll be just fine. I believe in you. So, thank you for watching my video. And I forgot to introduce myself. I just been yapping and yapping. But I'm Jera. And my channel is about intentional living, rebuilding your life outside of societal norms. And I also make content for my introverts, my fellow introverts. So if this sounds like something good to you, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're watching this video within the first week of it releasing, make sure you hit the hype button for me because this helps my video to be seen by others who may not know about my channel. So again, thank you so much for watching, and also like, comment, and share this video. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.